Okay, so welcome to the call. Those of you who are listening to the recording, you missed some great stories of people stepping out and having courageous conversations. And if we have some time, we'll share some more at the end. But just really great to hear you stepping up and doing those things that are going to move you as a human being forward more than anything else. I mean, are we ready to just have more influence in this world? We have the things that are going to help people live better lives. And if we have the courage to share them, we're going to make a difference. So, and we're farmers, right? We're planting seeds. So the thing that I wanted to share with you that I'm going to go on the wall right now and post. And if anybody wants to look at this right after the call, or if you're one of those people that can do more than one thing at a time, the assigned business activity, if you're a new team member or a new player and you haven't done this, your assignment this week for the 100 points is to master your story. And it's got an outline there for you to work from. And if you haven't done this at all, you just want to start with completing the sentence, and all this is written out. I said yes to Juice Plus because blank, and I started sharing Juice Plus because blank. Okay, and that gives you the framework, and then it's going to give you an outline to build your story from there. And what we want you to do is, after you've got something written out, share it with your sponsor first, and if there's any suggestions they have about fine-tuning it, great. And then post it on your team's Voxer chat and on this page when you are feeling comfortable with it. That's worth 100 points this week. So I was so proud of all of you that shared your goals in this last week and took those 30 points. So I'm hoping that 100 points will entice you to really work on your story, because it's what we say over and over again. And make sure that story calls to you, that it excites you to take action, because you're the one that hears the story more than anybody else, right? So make sure it draws the good out of you. Now I want to jump right into how everybody did in the first week. And so for those of you who, the big stretch was writing out your DMO and then figuring out your points and turning those in. Okay, you got that under your belt. So now you know how to do that. And this next week, you'll feel more productive and in line with what you want to accomplish. And you'll get to spend more time focusing on talking to people. But I wanted to just tell you, I was astounded at some of what happened this week. And so I've asked people to be on here, and I know I'm looking for you, Wendy. Are you on here? There you are. Okay, good. So Wendy, do you know how to unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So and I don't want you to think about these numbers and go, oh my gosh, if you were somebody that, got a few hundred points and you're thinking, that was all I could handle this week. I want you to hear how Wendy went about her week and what she did and how she leveraged her time and got over 4,000 points in 1 week. Okay, pretty amazing. So Wendy, I was so inspired by what you text me back that I definitely want you to share all those things that you said to me.
Okay, I copied it and I have it right here.
Great.
So basically, I set up a vendor table. It was already in line, so I'm glad we had this. It was perfect timing. I'm glad we had the game right around that time. Vendor table at Savannah Mall. It was a student success expo. So invited a couple of my team out. And there, of course, I met several different people. And at the table, afterwards, I was very diligent in utilizing my DMO sheet, more diligence. This is my third game, so I'm actually finally figuring it out a little better, how to work the sheet. I'm a hands-on type of person, so I did a lot of erasing and then writing, penciling in, and that worked for me. But I invited them. I had another event the next day at my home I didn't invite everybody out to that event, but I invited several people out, and then also people that I had contact with prior to that event. So I was doing a lot of copy, pasting, and texting. I also invited everybody out to the Tuesday night calls. I had a handful of people respond to that, but I just kept inviting and responding to whatever they said. So out of the people that would respond, then I put them in my phone. So I would, depending on what they said, I would connect them with a three-way call. I listened to or either got on all the live calls, and we had a guest in town. This was amazing, just impromptu, one-on-one, set up an HLP, shared the shake, shared just like a healthy living party just with him. Turns out he plans on ordering on Saturday, and this was really a great connect because he was the best man in our wedding, which was 20 years ago. So and then also during the week, I was determined to get at least two new people every day. So everybody that took my money, they got the question of either something around, okay, do you have any New Year's resolutions? What are they? Many of them said it was related to health. So there you go. It was an open door. If I would you, basically, and most people say yes. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
You had one other thing that you said in your conversation that I am trying to remember what it was. When you said, okay, anybody who took her money, she wrote down, you work hard. Are you interested in improving your health this year? I love that.
Yeah,
just get it.
Anybody who took my money, they got some type of question.
Yeah.
About relating that hopefully lead to Juice Plus, or asking them if they were interested in improving their health for this year.
That's awesome. I remember one time hearing Carolyn Price, who's a national marketing director, and one of the people in her downline was saying, you know how Carolyn does it. She says, you have a beautiful smile. I need to tell you about Juice Plus. And she just went right for it, I don't know that I'll ever be Carolyn Price, but we have to get over ourselves if we're going to be able to talk to more people. So anyway, Wendy, congratulations. I loved seeing what happened with you. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you for the individual point scores, I want to tell you who our top three people were for this week. And in third place, there was an absolute dead heat between Heather Legaska and Brittany Lawrence, that you just heard from a couple minutes ago, with 2,850 points. And in second place was Ashley Silveri. She had 3,920 points. And when I saw that score, I thought, no, nobody's going to top that. But Wendy, because of the kind of week she had, and you guys heard, she had events to build for, to plug into. And that is so key to really being able to score on a game like this, is to have something, and you are in control of what events you have. Great if there's something going on, but you can plan some things, and 2 or 3 gathered together. It's our definition of an event is that you're with that it's 3 people that you have together to do an event. So it could be at a coffee shop, it can be anywhere, but just think about what events you could do. So Wendy is our first $50 winner with 4,160 points. So you guys take yourself off of mute and give Wendy a round of applause.
Go Wendy! Go Wendy!
Great job.
Go Wendy!
Thank you.
Go Wendy!
Thank you all. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah. So you guys, I wanted you to hear from Brittany first, because I'll have Heather share in just a minute, but I wanted Brittany to share something because one of the people that I wanted to commend was someone on her team, because I noticed this week that Amber, who's a brand new person, she just fast-tracked to VF, she talked to 26 prospects. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that is like super impressive. And then I learned the story behind the story about Amber because Brittany's going to share it with you about what her journey with Amber was like, getting her involved in her business.
Okay. So, Amber's actually a woman that I met when my son was maybe 8 months old. He is now almost 5.5. And so we've known each other for quite a few years now and just became instant friends. We were both kind of new to Oregon and just built this friendship. Well, a couple years later when I met Ashley, she introduced me to Juice Plus. And so instantly I have in my head people that I want to try to join this business with me. So from the beginning, I'm inviting Amber to all my events and she's my friend and she came to my second event. And then after that, she didn't say anything. She just couldn't come. She couldn't come. And so eventually down the road, she was one person that it always hurts when you get this one person for the first time. But she said, please stop inviting me to events. Like, please just, I love you. I love that you're happy doing what you're doing, but please do not invite me to any more things. And I appreciated her honesty because I don't want to bug anybody, but it still stung a little bit, right? So I backed off for a long time and I just did my thing. She'd even mentioned that she started feeling like she knew, that Juice Plus was more of my life than she didn't know as much about me anymore. And so I just kept doing what I was doing and she was watching and we still kept getting together. And fast forward, I'd been doing some events and some people that she and I mutually know were starting to show interest in Juice Plus and reached out to me about it. And I thought, if they join the business, I would feel really bad if I never talked to her again about it. And so I was nervous. Even though she's a really good friend of mine, I was really nervous. But I said, so-and-so and so-and-so have reached out to me and they want information about the business and they're considering joining my team. And I just want to talk to you again about it. She's a fitness instructor. And so the way I went about it was I said, I really feel like you could offer something valuable to your fitness clients by offering them the nutrition component. And you have these people that have reached out to me. Is it something that you might want to consider and sit down with me and talk about? And she just out of the blue, she's like, yeah, I guess it would be silly for me to not think about it if I have friends that are interested in it. And it makes more sense to me now. So now, she was my biggest no I've ever gotten. She just told me flat out to stop talking to her about it. And now she's doing phenomenal. She fast-tracked to VF. She has since recruited another fitness instructor. We now have 3 fitness instructors from the YMCA on our team. And she's just blowing it up because she caught the vision. She caught it after all these years. And now she's just getting this great ripple effect, and it's been awesome to be a part of and to watch. So if you are patiently persistent and back off appropriately and come back, it comes full circle. And you just never know. If someone says no, don't give up forever. Just stop for a while.
Exactly. Don't you guys love that story? I just such a reminder. You just keep being you. And be authentic, awesome. And people appreciate it. Okay, so I want to share with you the teams that did the best this week. Now, some of you aren't going to recognize your scores because what we have to do, some teams have 6 and some teams have 5. And so what we do is we have to add in a ghost player that is an average of your 5 players their scores, and then we add that to make a sixth person so that all teams are equal. So I know that I'm saying that because when I say what your points were, you're going to go, we didn't score that much, but you did because of the ghost player, okay? So in third place was, well, I want to mention 4 teams because 4 teams hit the 5-digit number this week. So I was proud of all you guys. And the Mom Bosses came in just over 10,000 points with that ghost player added, 10,056. And the Go-Go Girls were in third place with 11,160 points. And you're going to hear, because this is very close, in first, second, and third. So there's no shoe-ins at this point. In fact, second and first place were divided by 18 points. Now, this is in a 5-digit score, right? So second place was Team Prevention. You just heard Wendy speak, and that's the team that she's part of. And they had 12,012 points. And first place team, you ready? Drum roll. All in team with 12,030 points. Woohoo! You can take yourself off of mute and yell for them too.
Great job.
Woo! Team up and
Wow.
down.
That's why I
Wow.
12,040 points. So I wanted to, Sandy, to just have her team, whoever, I know we heard from Michelle, but just how you guys are getting that number of points and how you're working together and encouraging each other. So Sandy, did you, go ahead.
Cool. First, I'm going to have, first, I just want to say it has been so incredible to work with this group because of the synergy. They're encouraging each other in our Voxer chat group. They're brainstorming, coming up with ideas, and I love it. It has kept me on my toes, which is great. And then first, I want to have Heather share, and I have to say, very much like Brittany, Heather told me no for 4.5 years.
That might be a record, Heather.
She tried other stuff. She was doing other stuff. But one thing I love about her, and she didn't really tell me no, she just wasn't ready. But I love that she would keep in touch with me. She would invite me to stuff for her boys, and I could always see that she would do really well when the time was right. And the time was right not too long ago. So I love that. But Heather, I'd love you to share how you're getting the points and what you're doing.
Well, I've been planting seeds since April when I finally decided to sign up. The Tower Garden is what brought me in. And so actually a month ago, I did a live Tower Garden video and I got a lot of comments on it and a lot of people asking me about it. So basically this past week, I followed up with all of them and then I posted more pictures of my Tower Garden and how it's doing right now. And I just followed up with everyone, and I have a lot of interest in countries that we're not even in yet. Canada, Mexico, Australia, Ireland. Yeah, and I've added close to 1,200 Facebook friends also. Most of those are network marketers. So I've been talking to them and trying to do a post every day where I'm engaging them. So that way they're commenting and checking out my profile, and then I can see what they're up to and just build a relationship with them. And so I ended up getting one person that ordered. I had another girl that was gonna order. I'm still gonna have to follow up with her, but I mean, it's been pretty good. I'm happy.
Great. That's awesome.
Great. And Lindsay, you've been really good at getting the team together, and share what you've been doing.
Hi, and hi, Sandy. I didn't see you before. So this is, I don't know, I think it's my second or third game, but there's something about this DMO. I can't put my finger on it, but it's been amazing. I've been really, really engaged in the action calls, and really focus on, I haven't had any orders yet, but I'm going out and I'm talking to people. And I was on Pam's call this morning, the action call, and just sharing that I have done it before, gone out and talked to people. So if I have done it before, I can do it again. So I went into 4 businesses today. I talked to either the manager or somebody at the front. I left my information, and I have a few days I'm going to go back in next week to talk with them. And I've also not been afraid to contact people that have said no to me before. So that's what I've been doing.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I'll turn it back over to you. But I do want to say that Michelle is winning with the 3-way calls. So if anyone's not doing 3-way calls, it's 100 points per call for both you and the person who's doing them. It's a great way.
Exactly. And I might as well tell you, because some of you have experienced the action calls and some of you haven't. So one of the ways that we're going to sweeten the pot for our contest is, we know that week 2 and this week that we're in right now, that our prize is going to be for the person who had the most business conversations. And you guys, when you have the conversation, you share a clip, you get a 3-way call. I mean, you're going to get 100 points for that too. So that's going to help drive your points up. But the person with the most business conversations wins the $50 next week. Well, our assignment for next week, when you start on with our new week, will be the person who contacts the most people during action calls. And I want to really emphasize that, because Pam and I were talking this morning, and she was just saying, knowing that I'm going to set aside an hour and just be focused and do this is so helpful to me in my business, because we get a little distracted, don't we? All the things that are there to do when we're at the house. And so I think if you guys learn to use the action calls, you'll use them forever. I mean, even if you just buddy up with a couple other people and say, hey, let's get together and make calls today, it's going to really help move you forward. So next week's prize will be the person who contacts. So as you're doing your action calls, keep track of the contacts that you're making, the people you're hearing back from, because it has to be something that's reciprocal. But keep track of those during the action calls, because that's who's going to win the prize for week 3, is the most people contacted during the action calls. So what else do I need to do? Okay, I have a challenge for you. Some of you, it's your first game. So you may have only had a few hundred points this first week, and you've heard some people that had some pretty high numbers tonight. So I'm not asking you to consider, how do I get from 600 to 4,000? What I'm asking you is if you will stretch and say, what would it take for me to get a comma in my score next week? And you're successful. If you have less than 1,000 in your points, and you can bump it up above 1,000, we're going to throw in an extra 100 points for you. So 100-point bonus if you go from below 1,000 to above 1,000, and you're just going to add the points on yourself. If you are above 1,000 and think you could make it to 2,000, and think you could make it to 2,000 if you stretched yourself a little bit, and you bump yourself up above the 2,000 mark, you will also give yourself an extra 100 points. And I'll write that down on our wall just so you don't forget. But it's just, this is a time you have set aside. You're learning how to plan your work your plan. And it's a time to really stretch yourself and say, okay, what would it take for me to do that? And I'll give you a big hint. Plan some events. Because if you have something to invite people to, you will score a lot of points. And we're not doing that just for the sake of scoring points. It's when we have events, even if it's a Facebook event, even if it's a Zoom event, whatever it is, when we have events, we're in action. We're thinking about who can I talk to, who could I invite, and if we have that mindset, that's what's going to move us forward in the business.
Lenora?
Yes.
What about the people that are at 2,000? Would they go to 3,000? Will they get an extra 100?
Well, I was trying not to make anybody feel like be completely overachievers, but if you if you change the 1,000 that you're in, and you guys, the only thing I would encourage you about, because I was thinking about that, to get 1,000 points with talking to people, it would take you about 33 people during the course of a week. So let's say you talk to 10 prospects and in the same week you followed up with them. You're getting points both times for those conversations. So it's doable if you think about it. And but really try and get most of your points from talking to people, because as much as we love having you do the other stuff and you'll learn from it, your paycheck's not going to change unless the majority of your points is coming from talking to people, right? Am I telling the truth? Okay, so the assigned business activities on there, I'll put that on about if you change to above 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and so on, you'll get an extra 100 points for doing that. Is there any, I didn't ask Tyra to come up with a great close to our call tonight, but Tyra, I would love to have you say hey and just anything that you'd like to share with the group about the game and how we're doing.
Hey, well, I just been impressed with all the activity that I guess that's going on, and just the I think I have 4 different teams playing, and so that's exciting to me just to see everybody in the game and just having the activity that they are. And I love what everyone's just sharing as far as their different conversations and how they're happening and getting out there. And you, Lindsay, going and just into businesses and talking to people, that's really getting out of your box. I think that's really cool. So you all inspired me tonight, so thank you.
Exactly. Well, you guys are already making it a great game, and I just I just urge you to have those courageous conversations, step outside your box, and somebody's got their hand up. Is that you, Wendy?
That's
okay,
me.
Go for it.
Yeah, I could put a post up online, but with the Facebook, we're having a Facebook party. Okay, how do we count those points?
That's an event. If you're hosting it, it's 60 points instead of the 30 points for attending.
Okay. So as far as inviting and people responding,
When you invite, you're either inviting a prospect or you're following up with a prospect and inviting that. So that's a conversation with a person. So everybody that you invite to an event that you have the conversation with, it's just like you could text them, but they need to reply in some way for it to be a conversation. And everybody that you hear back from, yes, no, or otherwise, they don't have to attend for you to get the points.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Thank you.
All right, you guys, give yourselves a hand. You're doing great. I'm going to stop the recording. If anybody has a question, I can stay on for a minute or we can stay on, but I'm going to turn off the recording.